Welcome everyone into Prowler Racing League season number 6, round 8 here in Japan, the only figure 8 circuit on the entire F1 calendar. Tonight, we have a few drivers here tonight going to take on the 18 corners, 3.6 miles long, one long DRS straight down to turn number 1. Expect a lot of overtaking down to turn 1. Let's see how that goes. Let's head on to our intermission screen while we're waiting for the lobby to ready up. Not a whole lot here tonight. Looks like we only have seven racing out of the 11 that checked into race tonight. But taking a look at where our calendar is, tonight we're in Japan. Next week, we're in Brazil, followed up by the streets of Baku and under lights in the desert in Bahrain, followed by our season finale at Singapore under the street lights. But tonight, again, we're in Japan. Let's take a look at what our team standings are so far. McLaren out in front, 228 points to Ferrari, 154. Alpine, 128. Haas sitting in fourth with 90. Unfortunately, that team has lost all their drivers this season. Aston Martin, 89. Sauber with 86. Mercedes with 58. Racing Bulls, 42. Red Bull, 33. And Williams in 10th place with 22 points. Those team points brought to you by our drivers. Here is your top 10. Sasuke leading the championship with 142. Way out in front of Mitch, moving up to P2 with 89. Dynamic missing last week and this week. Unfortunately, driving down to third with 86. He is this weekend at the IRL F1 race in Monza. Hope he had a good show. Then we've got the Ferrari of Vanilla Spilla tying Dynamic right now. So he's going to be moving up tonight. If he finishes the race and scores some points, behind him is his teammate Boogie with 68, moving up 2 spots. Our Season 3 champion, Some Good Salt, who's no longer with the league, dropping down with 58 points. F4 moving up with 58 as well, tying the Season 3 champion. Ooh, looks like we got a little bit of rain. Then we got Zaluxi, last year's champion. Unfortunately, due to attendance, she was dropped down to reserve status for Season 6. Lone Fiber moving up into our top 10 with 49 points. Not here tonight. Was not checked in, so we're not sure what's going on with him. And then we got Chris, our legendary reserve driver, dropping down to P10 with 42 points. So as we look at the screen here, it is wet here in Japan. Should make for some very interesting sessions. Let's head on over, get rid of these in-game graphics. Let's see here. Pull up the track map, which we got. Okay, we're good. So, right now, waiting for our drivers to head on out. As you can see, it is raining. It is going to be light rain for the entire qualification session. And it looks like Vanilla is going to be the first one out on our track to get around before setting his flying lap. Let's turn down the music a little bit. We don't need that while we're out on track. So here is Vanilla heading under the bridge, what makes Japan the very unique figure 8 track that it is. Looks like we got everyone has their timing set correctly, so no one's getting scolding in the Discord tonight. So this is going to be great to see. Boogie exiting the pits now We have a new driver, Karuma. Sure, I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I'll be corrected later on. Our newest driver to the league. Not going to be able to set a time, but we'll need to get out on track to set his race setup before we get underway. Here we go with Vanilla Spilla making the final few corners. Let's check out what he can do as he comes around the final corner, putting the power down in these very wet conditions. Cross line starts the timer. Every car currently out on track on the intermediates. Going very wide on turn 1. Very tricky conditions. Through the infamous S's. Looks like he's crawling, but he is putting the power down as best as he can. Sets the first sector time of 37.571. We'll keep an eye on what everyone else can do out on the track. And Inception does do a better time through that first sector. Vanilla making his way around Spoon Curve. Bring it down to the long straightaway before 130R. See what time he sets for that middle sector of 43.139 for the middle sector. Inception invalidates his lap. C9 invalidated his lap as well. So the next car that actually will set a legit time is going to be F4. Cross line for Vanilla, 139.776 in the Ferrari. So we'll head down to F4. Our next driver doesn't have an invalidated time. So Vanilla setting the fastest second and third sector. F4 here doing the best first sector. Track conditions, going very wide there. That's going to hurt him time-wise. Not sure if track conditions will improve to get everyone out on dry tires. Doubtful, but it may happen. So F4 fastest in the middle sector. Coming around to the final chicane here. A little bit of traffic up ahead, but should be far enough ahead. It's not going to cause a problem, and it won't. Comes around the final corner, down the hill. Cross the line. F4 to P1, 138.602. Looks like the other Ferrari Boogie coming through right now. Cross the line, 147.425. Puts him P4. Vanilla going for another lap. Best middle sector out of everyone so far. So it looks like they're going for a heavy fuel load to get multiple laps in as possible. 139.054 with nothing left on the battery, so Vanilla's going to have to recharge now. Let's head down. Inception across the line, 139.764. C9 just ahead of Mitch. Mitch currently second in the championship. Not sure if C9 is... Doesn't look like he's... No, he's not completely on a flyer right now. He's just getting tire temperature, and it looks like possible. Yeah, he's pretty far off the pace. So he's just getting that tire temperature up as best he can before he heads for the next lap. Will more than likely be his timed lap. Keep a close eye on that. So far, F4, your provisional pole, 138.602. C9 across the line to start his time lap. Mitch behind also looking to improve, but his battery's pretty full. So Mitch actually is going C9 going very wide down the turn one. Gonna be losing out a lot there. Mitch right behind. Closing in. Let's see if C9 gets out of the way. Or if Mitch is going to have to deal with the Red Bull in front of him, and the Red Bull lets him pass. Mitch absolutely trying his best to keep it on track. Slipping and sliding in these wet conditions. Just over 10.5 minutes left in the qualifying session. Mitch punches down the fastest first sector, a 36.450. Down into the tricky hairpin. That hairpin, tricky enough in dry conditions. In these wet conditions, it's going to be very difficult to put power down to get going all the way down to Spoon Curve. Keeping it within track limits. About half a battery left, so I'm not sure if he's going to go for another lap after this one as he's deploying down the back straight. 10 minutes left to go in the qualifying session. F4 out in front. Our championship leader currently sitting in fourth. P2 in the championship just put a fastest middle sector. This looks like Mitch is going to move up to provisional pole. And he does with a 137.974. That puts the Aston Martin over half a second out in front of F4. Let's go check out the next car on track that's setting a improved time. It's going to be Inception in the Mercedes. Improved mini sector 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but could not improve the first sector. Oh, Sasuke invalidates. Sasuke was looking to have the fastest first sector, but invalidated. You can see the McLaren orange dot there on the map just coming through the hairpin, so it must have been the exit just before, or the corner just before the bridge going underneath. Must have got a little bit too wide there. Invalidated lap. So with Sasuke invalidating, Inception now down a lot. Let's go check out Boogie in the Ferrari. Personal best in the first sector, looking to improve. Very smooth going through the hairpin. Back end not sliding out like we've seen some other drivers. Around 85 miles per hour through Spoon, accelerating out. Improves again in the middle sector. About 1.2 off the fastest middle sector, but an improvement nonetheless. Coming through the final chicane here, through the final quarter, Boogie should be improving position up to P5 with a 140.046. Next up, Sasuke going for it again. Purpling that first sector, 36.374. Now getting to that hairpin in the chromed out McLaren. Still ever improving. Coming up to Spoon Curve, looking to carry as much momentum around that corner. A little bit higher average speed going through. Now down the long straightaway, deploying that battery down to 15%, 14%. Purple middle sector. Sasuke looking to take away provisional pole from Mitch. Getting very sideways out of the final corner. Let's see if that cost him. Cross the line. Sasuke 137.745. 0.2 faster than Mitch, but out on track right now. F4. Fastest first sector. 36.261 for the first sector. looking to upset Sasuke off the pole position. 6 minutes left to go. Yellow flag, that's for the slow-moving Ferrari. Up ahead is F4. Zips around, improves again in that middle sector. F4 really putting down the laps tonight through the final chicane. Doesn't look like it's still raining a little bit. Around the final corner, down the hill, across the line. F4 back on pole position, 1:37.130. 6/10 out in front of Sasuke. Massive improvement there from F4. See where Sasuke is coming around. Invalidated on his lap, so he's not going to be doing anything here. Looks like Boogie's into the pit. We got a few other cars out on track. Looks like Mitch might be going for another run. Currently on an out lap. Let's check what the telemetry shows for Mitch as he's coming through the final corners. Let's watch the telemetry, how he handles the lap here at Suzuka in the rain conditions. Full throttle, heading all the way down to turn one. That battery just deploying almost 200 miles per hour before entering into turn one. Light on the brakes a little bit. Oh, wait. Halfway on the brakes before accelerating again. Feathering that throttle with the slippery conditions. Just under 5 minutes to go. Sasuke with a warning. Ooh, getting very out of sorts there. You can see him playing with the throttle to keep it on the track. Coming out of the first sector now. Not an improvement on his time, a 37.438. Fastest is a 36.261. He's swerving the tires there, trying to get the temperature back in. So this lap, he is more or less letting it go. He's going to start recharging the battery. You can see, yeah, he's at 100% battery now. He's going to be recharging this thing, let it go back around. Let's go check out another driver setting a time. Right now, not improving, doesn't look like, is Inception. Nope, not improving in the first sector. So the only two cars out on track right now is Inception and Mitch. Neither improving on their time. Unfortunately, Mitch was up. He had 4 mini purple sectors in the first sector. So Inception coming across the line, start a lap. Mitch came into the pits. Mitch says he wasn't going to do a full lap anyways, which is fair. Doesn't look like, is it still raining? It's hard to tell on this screen. Purple first sector for Inception, 36.185. I swear it looks like it's stopped raining. No, it still says it's light rain. Two minutes left to go in the qualifying session. F4, your current pole setter, 137.130. Inception looking to upset that. Fastest first sector, purpling the middle sector so far. We'll find out momentarily as it crosses the beam. Only a personal best in the middle sector. Lost a lot of time in that middle sector. About 2/10 down from F4 now. So he's going to have to pull something here out of the bag. Through the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Only P2, 1:37.632. That is a great improvement for Inception, but not close enough to dethrone F4 from that provisional pole. Let's go check out with Sasuke right now. A few purple mini sectors as he's heading through. See if Mitch comes about to be the drift master again. He is out on track up ahead of Sasuke right now, but Sasuke purpling that first sector. Still reports of rain from the track. Hard to see on the screen, but we will go with what the drivers are telling us. Less than 30 seconds left in the qualifying session. Few drivers going to get in their final laps as we head on through. Sasuke coming to finish up the middle sector. Purple again. He is almost half a second up on F4 as he's coming around through the final chicane. This is a very small third sector, but see what he can do. Coming through across the line, 136.698. 4/10 up on F4. Everybody improving out on track right now. Let's go check out the next car that's going to be crossing the beam that is improving. You've got Boogie. So far, everyone's improving their times. So Vanilla comes across the beam. He is done with a 139.054. P5. His teammate Boogie. Personal best again in that middle sector. Mitch puts down the first sector as fastest. We'll cut back to him as soon as Boogie comes across the line here. Mitch coming out of Spoon right now on the long straightaway. Boogie across line up to P4. Great improvement for Boogie. Here we are with Mitch as he crosses the beam for the middle sector. Purple, purple. Let's see what if he can do through the final chicane here. And across the line, Mitch, your fastest, 135.609. That is going to put him in pole position ahead of Sasuke with a 136, so almost a full second faster. Wow. Mitch with a 135.609. Sasuke 136.698. Woo. F4 with 137.130. Inception 137.632. Boogie 137.657. Vanilla 139.054. And C9's into the pits with a 143.822. And our newest driver doing the qualifying ban as is required of our rookies to let him fight his way through the field. Mitch saying it was fully dry, what gave him that pole position. Great job from Mitch getting on the track at the perfect time. Absolutely doing phenomenal. So right now, I think we're just waiting on C9 to retire while he's in the pits. And he does. So that finishes our qualifying session. Mitch out in front. The 135.609 in drying conditions. Fantastic time. Let's take a screenshot of that real quick before we head to the intermission screen. All right, so while we're waiting here, head on over and notify our drivers when they are going to go. So we'll give everyone five minutes to let themselves take a quick break, stretch their their arms, their legs. Correct pronunciation. Awesome. Fantastic. So our news driver just gave me the thumbs up that I did pronounce it correctly, but unfortunately, I'm probably going to forget and screw it up next time. But here we are. Let's check out. Just pull up the calendar real quick for everyone. Let's just see what we got. We got 4 more minutes till we go. But tonight we're in Japan. Double check our live timing situation here. Make sure we got everything correct. Looks like we do. Fantastic. All right. So. We used to have a graphics for the starting grid. More times than not, it didn't want to work. But let's see if it actually worked this time, so I can show everybody. Because we love to show graphics here, give everybody a visual representation of what we got going on here. Let's go season 6, race number 8. I saved it in the right spot. Let's try that again. I appreciate everyone here tonight with us. 3 more minutes until we start. Let everyone get there. I put it in the wrong folder. That's why. It's not working. Not sure why. We'll figure it out. But we got another 3 minutes left to go until we start this session. We have a small group tonight, so it's going to be Oprah points for everyone. So as long as they finish the race, they will score points, which everyone loves to have. Oh, I did put it in the wrong spot. That's why I couldn't find it. Apologies, everyone. Let me see here. Click browse. Go to. I used to be way more organized than this, but it happens. So here we go. Here's your calendar. Here's your starting grid for tonight. Mitch out in front. Sasuke P2, F4 in third. Inception starting the other side in fourth. The Ferrari's locking out that third row. Boogie in fifth. Vanilla in sixth. C9 in the Red Bull next to our newest driver, Karuma. Now that red dot in the flag, that was not me, but it was how the graphic came. I ended up purchasing track maps with the maps or the flag in the middle. Yeah, Japan really got goofy there. So I apologize. 1 minute left to go. Looks like one of our drivers showed up that needed to serve a penalty. I unfortunately from this view cannot view the lobby, so hopefully somebody can give me a screenshot to confirm. Yep. Do your best not to wheel spin. And that's 7:30 Central Time. So let's get the green flag to the Discord. To everyone, let's go. Let's head down to the track and wait for us to start us up. There's the ticks of the lobby getting us ready to go to trackside. So we got formation lap. It's a dry race so far. So let's actually pull up if it will let me. Just gotta wait for this thing to go. All right, so weather forecast for the race is going to be light cloud, light cloud, light cloud all the way through. So we should be good. A little bit of circuit information as our cars are turning around the track. Here's Mitch King. Whoa, sideways on the formation lap, hitting the wall. That should auto reset him to the grid, I think. Oh, no, he didn't do enough damage to do it. So he's going to have to head back out to the... Oh, there goes the reset him. So, 18 corners, full throttle, 64% of the time. Top speed, you'll get about 200 miles per hour. Medium wear, or high wear, medium downforce. That was very interesting there for Mitch. So as we head around, real quick. So Mitch hit the, unfortunately, hit the wall. It reset him back to the start of the grid. So right now you got Sasuke on front. And then you have Mitch bring up the rest of the field going quite slowly there. So unfortunately, Mitch is going to have to wait and Sasuke is going to have to wait quite some time. Those tire temperatures are going to go down quickly. Then we got Inception P4, Boogie P5, Vanilla P6, C9 and the Red Bull in 7th. And then Karuma in P8. We'll be wrapping out our field. So we'll go to camera view with Sasuke. Because the rest of the field warm up their tires, doing the burnouts to get themselves situated. Last car enters the grid. Green flag at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on the gantry. Lights are out, and we are racing in Japan for Prowler Racing League. Round number 8. Mitch losing a lot on the wheel spin there at the beginning. Sasuke getting out into the lead with F4 taking up P2. Inception right there. Mitch looking for a move on the outside, going into the S's. Starts to tuck in to Inception. Ferrari's going a little wide there, side by side. As we head up the hill to turn number 7. As we come down, turn number 8. Oh, getting very sideways there for a car in the back. Looks like that might have been Boogie, unfortunately getting a little worse for wear. Mitch having to take a leg brake, evasive move into the hairpin. Luckily, no damage on any car so far. Field staying relatively close together. Mitch doing the move on the inside. A little bit of a nudge there to the Mercedes. They continue on. It looks like Inception may have got a warning for track limits from that incident going into Spoon Curve. Down to turn 1, Mitch up to P3. Defending against Inception, but also trying to hunt down F4 out in front. Mitch on the tire advantage on the mediums compared to F4 out ahead. DRS is enabled as they head up the hill through turn number 7. So looking at what the tire life is so far, we saw the confirmation there. Icy left the session, so he was here to serve his race ban. He'll be good to go for the next round in Brazil. So tire wear life is looking like these medium runners, Mitch, Inception, Vanilla, Boogie, and C9, about 11 to 13 laps. Ooh, Mitch getting a little wide there, getting a warner for a corner cut. Down through turn 1. The gap back to Inception, less than half a second. So this might turn into a DRS train race. We will see. But right now, your top 5 all pretty close. Every car within a second of each other. So when they come down that main straightaway, they all will have DRS. So the one driver that will be excluded from that train is going to be Sasuke, but right now he's maintaining pretty good. 13% wear and 12% for Sasuke on the hards. F4 is using a little bit more tire than Sasuke is on the same compound, but these medium runners are running through their tires a lot more. And all the while, Sasuke on front using the ERS as we come down the straightaway. F4's got nothing left in the tank, so he'll have nothing to defend with on top of DRS heading into turn 1 as we come through the final chicane. Let's go here with... Oh, Mitch picks up a 3-second time penalty for a corner cut. F4 the fastest lap, but right now he has nothing spare in the tank for ERS wise. Mitch right on the gearbox, not letting him get away. Very little recovery of the ERS system. Mitch getting a little squirrely there, inviting Inception to try to take it away from him. As you can see right now, Mitch, with that outstanding 3-second penalty, is going to have to keep that in mind as this race progresses. We're on lap 4 of 27 here at Japan. Field's starting to get a little bit more spread out, but right now the closest battle on track is between 2nd through 4th. Vanilla's currently a 10th out of DRS range of Inception up ahead. Hopefully he can close that down by the detection zone. Further up ahead just before the speed trap here at 130R. Heavy braking down chicane. Inception picking up a 3-second as well. Here we go down the long straightaway. Let's see if Mitch goes for a move. Goes for the inside line. Breezes past F4. F4 knowing that this is a long race. We're only on lap 5. And the fact that Mitch also has that 3-second time penalty. F4 is just going to hang with him, but tire degradation-wise, those medium runners are going to be struggling pretty soon. Let's actually take a look at what our tire wear is here up on the leaderboard. Mitch currently sitting at 30% average across front and rear, whereas Sasuke on front is only sitting about 21% on those hard tires compared to Mitch's mediums. So Mitch working to build that gap to F4 and not let Sasuke get away. Sasuke currently 1.3 ahead of Mitch here in P2. So he's going to be out of DRS range as we come through the final chicane. Let's keep an eye on F4 as he's coming through. Looks like Mitch actually had a disconnect issue with his steering wheel. F4 now 0.3 behind. Mitch doing everything he can to keep that gap growing. Currently, this battle for P2 is our closest one on battle. Everyone else getting pretty spread out so far. Again, we're going to be coming up to pit stops pretty soon. So our medium runners are looking from lap 13 or 11 to 13. Hards are 14 to 16. Currently on lap 6. These guys are actually pushing these tires harder than what I think the game is. That gap ever so closely. Mitch getting so out of shape as we come through the final corner. F4 going for the move on the inside. Takes it back from Mitch. Inception coming to the pits. Getting off those medium tires. It's going to drop him down the running order. Now F4 has all to do to try to catch Sasuke 2.3 seconds up ahead. But Mitch not letting him get away. Mitch getting very sideways, getting off the track, having a lock up to save it. Going to turn number 9, round 10, into the hairpin. These tires are pretty cooked. We're sitting at roughly 46% in the front, 43 in the rear average for Mitch. So he's probably going to be looking to pit pretty soon, much sooner than what the game was predicting for our medium runners. So it looks like Inception, when he pitted, switched to another set of medium. So he's going medium, medium. So he's going to have to make another stop for another dry tire compound. At some point this race, heavy lock up there for Mitch. Watch to see if he comes into pits this time, and he does. Gets it slowed down just in time. And if he hits the pit entry just right, it should be about a 2.2 second stop. 2.3 just missed out. It's coming out of the pit lane, switching to the hard compound. So looks like our pit lane delta is going to be about 22 seconds. And here comes Inception in the background. So Mitch getting out in front of Inception. looks like Sasuke had a moment there. Currently in third. No damage. Tire wear is looking pretty normal. Not sure what happened. Car's looking pretty dirty. May have gone off track. Losing out to F4 and Vanilla. So let's go through right now. Let's watch. I think Vanilla is going to be our next car to make the stop. Sitting at currently 44% on the fronts, 37 on the rear. And he continues on. Let's see if Sasuke comes in. So Sasuke decides to come in off the hards. So he may have overcooked his tires, dealing with whatever it was that had him dropping back down the order. So he will lose out to both Mitch and Inception, as they are already passed heading into turn one. Tough break for Sasuke. Not able to keep out in front of the Aston Martin and Inception, but Inception with the fastest lap so far. The 131. And it disappeared, please. Oh, Sasuke. Wait, no. 131, 108 is the fastest lap for the race so far. So the field's spreading out a little bit. We got the F4 out in front on the hards, but Vanilla deciding to stay out. See if he decides to pit this time. Currently sitting at 50% on the fronts. Ooh, taking that corner there through the chicane a little rough. And decides to continue on again. So Vanilla pushing these mediums to their absolute limit. Again, the game was predicting maximum 13 laps on these mediums, so that's what he might be pushing these to do. It's a pretty small field. Mitch getting the fastest lap, 131.020 on the hard tires. So far, everyone keeping it clean on the race. No reports of damage seen so far. Mitch and Sasuke both making pit stops to the alternate compound, so they are good pit stop wise. But Inception looking to go for see if Vanilla comes in this lap. 55%. It went up 5% in the last lap. He continues on. Let's see what happens with his teammate Boogie also continuing on the mediums. So let's head back to where the closest battle is right now is between Sasuke and Inception. Sasuke fastest lap 133.08. Speeding the pit lane for a newest driver, unfortunately picks up a 10-second penalty. So right now, Inception, just under a second. So Karuma picking up a 10-second penalty from speeding in the pit lane, switches to the softs, going for a very different strategy than any of the other drivers out on track. Let's see if that pans out for him to try to steal the fastest lap away from anyone else. And this gap back from Sasuke to Inception is growing ever so much. Mitch closing in on Boogie. Mitch on the very much younger hard tires compared to Boogie sitting at 55% on his fronts, 47 on the rear, so he's going to be struggling for grip. Trying to defend against the faster paced Aston Martin. Unfortunately catching him in a bad spot. Mitch going for the move on the inside up to turn 7, gets it done. Great overtake there from Mitch. So currently F4 leading the race. C9 coming in for the pits off the mediums. So it looks like the only drivers yet to pit is going to be F4 out in front, Vanilla in P2, and Boogie in P4. Let's see if if F4 decides to come in this lap. He does not. Continues on with the hard tires. Currently sitting at an average 56% in the front, 51 in the rear. Tires are actually cooling down quite a bit into the long straightaway down to turn number 1. Currently 11.7 seconds out in front of Vanilla. We'll wait until all cars have done their pit stops, and we'll go through a running order to give you a race story of every driver so far. Boogie in the Ferrari finally coming into the pits. Looks like he is far enough out ahead of the Williams and the Red Bull that he will maintain P6. Boogie going from mediums to hard. So expect the same kind of strategy from the lead Ferrari of Vanilla. So let's see. We'll keep the camera here on F4 as he's coming down the long straightaway to 130R. Same laps as Vanilla, but hopefully using the hard tire as the opening tire, he can go longer, and currently does. Let's check out, see what Vanilla does as he comes around to the final chicane on the track. Average 68% of the fronts, continues on. Vanilla feeling confident on these worn medium tires as we're on lap 14 of 27 here at Suzuka. So again, the game for Vanilla was predicting lap 9 through 12 to pit. He's currently on lap 14, so he is well beyond what the game was predicting. And if we head back up to F4 out in front, or is that that's when they're predicting he'll pit. Mitch with another 3-second time penalty. What happened there? Looks like he might have gotten a little wide in that corner where he did before. So that puts him up to a total of 6 seconds on the books. So he's going to need to work quite hard to build that gap to Sasuke behind, currently sitting at 2.2 seconds. I'm reminded the tire puncture range is about 80%. So the driver that's closest to running that risk is Vanilla up ahead, 1.6 seconds up ahead. You can see him in the bottom of the screen as Mitch comes through. Let's see if Vanilla dives into the pits this lap. He's at 72%, average for the front. Mitch gets through the chicane. Vanilla sliding into the pit lane. Slows it down just in time. Currently on the medium tires. His teammates switch to the hards. Let's see if he's trying to make this a one-stop race. 2.2, which is a perfect pit stop. Switches to the hard tires. He's going to come out right in front of his teammate. Inception also coming to the pits. Remember, he went medium. He also switches to the hards to finish out this race. So right now, your leader, F4, out in front by 15 seconds to the Aston Martin of Mitch in P2. That's not going to be enough. Pit delta is roughly about 22 seconds. So if he pits now, he's going to lose out to Mitch and possibly Sasuke. Yeah, he'll lose out to Mitch and Sasuke if he pits now. Bit of a lock up there into turn 16. Continues on again. So right now we're waiting for F4 to make his pit stop to see where he'll come out, and then that will basically show us what our running order is. We can do a race story of where everyone started and where they're currently running. Karuma picks up a 3-second penalty, currently up to 13 seconds. Unfortunately for him, he will be getting a word from the steward's office for the excessive time penalties. So the gap from P2 Mitch to Sasuke, currently 1.5 seconds and dropping. Right now we're looking at what the gap is from F4 to Mitch, sitting right around 14 seconds. Mitch is closing in. To F4, reducing that lead. So when F4 finally comes into the pits, he will lose out. And seeing as F4 started on the hards, he will more than likely, here he comes, ooh, hitting the bollard on the way in. He will more than likely be switching to the medium tires to finish out this race. So he will be hunting behind Sasuke on much older. So there goes Mitch and Sasuke. Vanilla 35 seconds behind. He plenty of time to get out of the pit lane. So now the chase is on. F4 on the brand new mediums, chasing down Sasuke, 1.2 ahead. Sasuke sitting on 8-lap-old mediums compared to Mitch on 9-lap-old hards, but Mitch does have 6 seconds of penalties. So let's go up to our leader currently on track. Let's get some race story information to give everyone a kind of an overview of what's going on. We're on lap 17 of 27 here at Suzuka. Mitch, your pole setter, after doing mandatory pit stops, currently out in front at 1.3 seconds, being chased right there by the McLaren. So right now, Mitch will be losing P1 on penalties to Sasuke behind. Then you've got Sasuke in P2, started P2. Had a bit of an incident earlier on, dropping down the order, but thankfully can recover so far here. Was leading the race for a little bit on a set of mediums, so he will have much more grip. As it stands right now, the mediums are roughly less than a second back, but not at the detection zone. 10 laps left to go. Sasuke closing in on Mitch, while F4 just pitting for the mediums, 4.5 back from Sasuke. Started third and third. No penalty or no time penalties, so he's racing straight up with Sasuke. But ideally, math-wise, if I just do it roughly, he will inherit P2 as Mitch will drop down the order. F4 just needs to stay within 6 seconds of the leader to inherit that silver trophy across the line. Next up, we got Vanilla Spilla, started 6th, currently up in 4th right now, running the hard tires with no penalties. Then we got the teammate in the other Ferrari, Boogie, started 5th and 5th, breaking even so far, is doing a fantastic job, score points for the Ferrari team to move up in the championship. Then we got Inception in the Mercedes, started 4th, dropping back down to P6. Does have 3-second time penalty to contend with at the end of this race, but right now nobody's nearby him, so it is his position to lose. Next up, we've got our newest driver, Karuma, started 8th, currently in 7th, does have 13 seconds of penalties, which will affect him quite a bit. Not enough for position, but it will be a trip to the steward's office, we are for sure. Then we've got our final runner, C9, started 7th, dropping back to 8th. Does not have any penalties, so we can get rid of that one. So that is our current running order. Let's head back up to the front. Oh, Sasuke dropped on the P4. Did he just pit? Sasuke just pitted. So as it stands right now, after penalties, so F4 is going to be our leader of the race. We're on lap 19 of 27. Vanilla too far back to overtake Mitch on penalty. So Vanilla currently in P3. But we'll keep an eye on how long that'll last, as Sasuke just came in for a brand new set of medium tires. But all while this is happening, F4 is catching Mitch on those medium tires, setting the fastest middle sector. Mitch is under threat from F4. F4 wants to get this lead on merit. Mitch comes into the pits. F4 fastest lap, 129.953. It's great to see F4 really taking this track by the horns and absolutely dominating. So right now, Sasuke and Vanilla coming around the final corner. Mitch just leaving the pits now. Going to be too slow, but there goes the Ferrari of Vanilla. Sasuke also goes past Mitch. So now Mitch is going to be working very hard over the next 7 laps to catch Sasuke and build a gap. But then again, Mitch does have 6 seconds of penalties. Inception does have wing damage. Missing that end plate there on the left front. So he's going to be coming into the pits to get that swapped out. Get to slow down in time. Here is P2, P3, and P4 battling it out. Vanilla at the disadvantage on the hard tires, 21% compared to the brand new mediums of Sasuke and Mitch. Sasuke looking for the move on the inside. Doesn't make it happen there as we head through Spoon onto the long straightaway. Looking at ERS available, Vanilla's got nothing. Sasuke also running nothing. They're all right around 20%, except for Vanilla, who's struggling even more. Sasuke making the move on the inside. Heavy braking side by side for Mitch and Sasuke. Mitch gets ahead of Sasuke, but Sasuke's not letting him go. They tuck back in line. Let's see Mitch and Sasuke working together more or less to get past Vanilla. But Sasuke tucks in P3 behind Mitch. Great battle there. Not much that Vanilla could do being on those harder tires compared to these medium runners. That could have ended badly for a lot of these guys, but they cleanly made it through, ducking and weaving, making sure that no one made contact. So right now Sasuke is working his hardest to catch Mitch to get P2 on merit. He will inherit with the penalties, but he wants that position. We're on lap 21 of 27. But Vanilla not letting these guys get out of his sight. He's 1.2 back, but he can still see him. Sasuke right behind Mitch. Mitch with tire advantage and ERS advantage. But Sasuke is getting towed along as they go through 130R. Sasuke going to the inside, making contact, forcing Mitch to cut the corner. Mitch picks up a 3-second time penalty on that one, but he could send that one in for review to get it removed because he was, from our perspective, forced off track. Sasuke shaking his head no as they come down to turn number 1. So Sasuke is going to be trying again as we head up the hill through turn 7. Under the track they go, heading up through turn 10 to the hairpin of 11. Mitch locking up a little bit as he enters in. Gap back to Sasuke, 0.8. Currently sitting pretty even, almost dead even on ERS. Inception sealing the fastest lap, point away. Back in P6. 5 laps left to go. F4 way out in front by over 18.5 seconds. This currently our closest battle on track between Sasuke and Mitch. But in reality, Mitch is going to be dropping back due to time. Sasuke gets that fastest lap back. 129.844, moving on the outside through to turn 1, up to P2 on merit. Four laps left to go. Closing that gap down from 18.5 seconds down to 16.7. Sasuke pulling away from Mitch and picking up another fastest lap, 129.522. Mitch looking for the inside. Makes those mirrors of the McLaren absolutely full. So while these two are battling it out up the hill, let's go check out our leader. Just give him a little bit of screen time and some love. F4 out in front. Oh, looks like C9 get turning around. Ooh, hopefully he'll get going again and out of the way of the upcoming cars. Woo! Just in time for Aston Martin and McLaren to run through. Does have the Red Bull coming up behind. Front wing is absolutely gone, unfortunately covered in gravel. So here we go, F4 out in front. Even though he does have a comfortable lead of 16 seconds, he is pushing. Oh, he pushed too hard. F4 pushing to kind of try to make that lead stick, sitting at 48% in the fronts, 40 in the rear, picks up his 3-second time penalty. So now the gap back to Mitch is 13.5 seconds. Still plenty healthy, but F4 pushing hard, doing his best just to put his stamp of authority on this. So we head back to P2. Mitch defending against Sasuke. Mitch does have 9 seconds of penalties. So that will drop him back significantly. Boogie with the fastest lap, 1:29.380, picking up the extra point for himself and Ferrari to help in that Constructors' Championship. Absolutely. Sasuke less than half a second back, trying to close down on the penalty-stricken Mitch up ahead. So a couple of our drivers further down the order, 2 laps left to go, doing fastest lap swaps as much as possible, running those soft tires. Got Boogie, Inception, and C9 on the softs. Sasuke doing everything he can to close the gap. DRS is going to open up wide here. He heads down the straightaway, 213 miles per hour. Mitch closing the door, making slight contact there. Very close battle between these two. So either Sasuke can keep harassing Mitch to get past on merit, or he can just sit back now for the next 2 laps and just inherit the position. Sasuke not closing enough. He's 2/10 back. Not going to make the move here on the straightaway. He's going to wait for the main straight again. But F4 crossing the line, starting the final lap. Onto the main straightaway. Mitch keeping that inside defending line. Sasuke making the move on the outside. Side by side, but Mitch keeps it up ahead as they head into the S's. F4 going into the hairpin now. We got a Williams up ahead of these two. See if he follows blue flag procedure, lets these guys through. Sasuke going for the inside. Can't get it done. Makes contact and spins it out, loses it into the hairpin. And he's got Vanilla behind closing in. But let's head up to your race leader, F4, absolutely doing everything he can to dominate this race tonight. Doing a fantastic job. Did a fantastic job in qualifying, too. There he goes, across the line. F4, your winner tonight. Mitch being held up a little bit here by the Williams. Cross line, Mitch and P2, but penalties are going to drop him back. Sasuke crossing line up to P2. I don't think Vanilla's close enough. He is. Vanilla's close enough to P3 on the podium. Then you got Mitch, P4, Boogie. The other Ferrari with the extra point for fastest lap coming up to the final chicane. Across the line, P5. And Inception, who's battling it out with Boogie, trying to get that fastest lap on those soft tires. Coming around 9. Looks like C9 is going to cross the line in front of him. But position on track, Inception ahead of C9. So everyone finishing the race tonight. And Inception across the line. So your winner, forget let the game go. There we go. Doing a video recording. Go, hey, look at me, Mom. I'm on the podium. You got F4. Followed by Sasuke, P2, Vanilla, P3. There they go, spraying the champagne. Two drivers representing the two top teams in the championship. Spraying the Alpine driver, F4, doing a fantastic job tonight. So there you go, your race winner, F4. Boogie with the fastest lap. Driver of the day, Vanilla. Keeping it nice and clean. Most overtakes, Mitch. Let's get a screenshot of that real quick. So that's going to give us our final results. Get a screenshot of that real fast. And the one with the penalties. Okay. So F4 going with the hard to medium strategy. Winning the race. Sasuke, hard to medium, medium. P2, Vanilla, medium to hard. And then Mitch dropping down with penalties. And P4, followed by Boogie. That brings us back to the lobby, so let's head out here. So that was round number 8 at Japan. So next week, we're in Brazil. Hopefully get a little better turnout. But that will do it for tonight. For Prowler Racing League. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. And we will see you guys next week in Brazil.